everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I've added an extra video this month because I wanted to cover off a subject which I myself find really interesting, but I think affects a lot of us. It is a question that a lot of people ask themselves, and that is the question of, why am I struggling to build relationships at work? And this could be with your colleagues, this could be with your clients, customers, candidates. A lot of people in this world wonder why there's certain people they can't get along with, can't understand. And you might ask yourself, why is it I can only get along with certain types of people? Why is it that that type of person or that individual in particular just winds me up? Like, why is that? And why am I struggling to make bonds with my teammates, for example? It's a common thing, it's not unusual, and I just want to cover off some stuff in this video that might answer some of those questions and provide some advice on how to deal with it. There's so many different types of people that we come across every single day, especially in jobs like recruitment, like sales or customer-facing jobs, where you are meeting so many different types of people every day. So to be expected to know that person quickly, know, for example, how they like to be communicated with, and for them to understand you is difficult. And when we're in a job where our job is built on the strength of our relationships, it's so important that we try to understand them, because without that and without the relationship, are we going to have that success that we need in our role? So it's important for a lot of us that we have these strong relationships, not just for our own sense of self and to feel good, but for the success of our work as well. The reason that it is often hard to build relationships with some people is because they're so different to us. You'd be very hard pressed to find somebody that is exactly the same as you in every aspect. So they are motivated by the same things as you. They communicate in the same way as you. They take on challenges the same way as you. I mean, very hard pressed. And we make a lot of assumptions. We assume that people like to be communicated with the same way as we do, or they like an email to be written the same way as we do. And there's a lot of misunderstandings that happen, in particular when you work in an office job or as part of a team, that cause conflict. And that is where you start struggling to build a relationship with somebody or find a common ground. And all it is people kind of pushing against each other. When I run a lot of team building sessions, I'll get right at the start everybody to stand up and do a really quick exercise where I get them to push against each other's hands. And that is symbolic in a way of how when somebody pushes against us, our reaction is to push straight back. And that's often what happens with communication in particular. There's differences between people being outgoing and more reserved. There's also differences between people's priorities. And this is where the real conflict happens, because some people prioritize things like tasks over people, and some people are the other way around. Some people prioritize people over tasks. It's not to say that people-focused people never think about completing tasks, because they will, but their priorities are slightly different. So for example, I'm very task-focused. When I worked in an office, I was coming into work to work. I wouldn't necessarily be very chatty in the staff room, for example. I'd grab my coffee or tea and go to my desk and start work. More people-focused people might have seen me as rude, or I didn't value our friendship, and maybe have got their back up a little bit. Wasn't the case at all, but can you see how a really simple misunderstanding could start to burn some bridges with the relationships you've got? And it can work the same with your customers. Now you're probably wondering, well, yeah, that's all great, but how can I solve this? How can I start to build better relationships with my team, with my customers? And one of the ways that you can do this is by using a behavioural profiling tool called DISC. Now, if you haven't heard of DISC before, DISC stands for 4 different styles, essentially, or behaviours. D styles are dominant, they're driven, very direct, competitive people, like to be leaders. I's are very influential, inspiring, very interactive, positive people. They love being around people, very sociable. Then you've got S's, who are steady, they are sensitive, sentimental, great team players, extremely reliable as well. And then you've got C's, who are cautious, they are careful, very conscientious, they like facts and figures, high quality work, and they are great at analysing things as well. That's a very, very brief overview of the 4 different styles. By taking a DISC assessment, you find out what styles you are, so you have that massively enhanced self-awareness. And that is when you can start modifying and adapting your behaviours to suit the people around you. And you start to understand a bit more about what other people's preferences might be more in the know about, okay, they're coming into work and going straight to their desk, not because they're rude, not because they don't like me, but they're just more task focused than me, and that is okay. If you're looking at the benefits to the team, if you all know more about your own styles and each other's, it's great for team cohesion. You can start utilising individuals in the team's strengths and putting them into the right roles. You can tackle challenges easier as a team because you start to understand each other better. And managers can then start to adapt their management style, so they can really tap into how to adapt their leadership styles to get the most out of their team. And overall, there's just going to be less conflict. We're not going to have a perfect team that never falls out or there's never something that goes wrong, but you can definitely deal with those situations a lot better. Now, the benefit if you're an organisation is you're going to have a higher performing, successful team, which is great for any business, of course. Better staff retention, because people are going to feel heard, they're going to feel understood, your culture is going to be improved. What we say in DISC is that anybody can do any job, they are just going to do it differently. So it's great for diversity and inclusion as well, because you start to see that it's not just one type of person that can do a job. Anyone can do it. It's just appreciating the different ways they're going to do it. I have worked in jobs dealing with customers all my life, literally all my life. And I remember when I finished university, I started my first kind of proper full-time job in a call centre. And it was a sales job. I was selling insurance products. And when I think back, when I was 22, 23, I didn't really have that greater self-awareness, and I really didn't appreciate the differences in people. Obviously, I knew people had different personalities, things like that, but I didn't fully appreciate how it could affect relationships and communication. And I remember when I first started, just being myself, being that direct, straight talking self. And there were just some people that I would take calls from that I just couldn't gel with, couldn't get a sale out of, couldn't get them to chat to me. And I put it down to them. I thought they were difficult. I thought they were awkward. But actually, were they difficult or awkward? Or were they just different to me? And they were simply just different to me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, when I started to tap into adapting my behaviour, taking into account if somebody came on the phone and they were a bit more reserved, to tone down my communication, that is when I started seeing my sales go up. And at the time, I didn't really understand the lengths of what I was doing. I didn't know about behavioural models then. I didn't know about things like DISC, for example, tools that could basically help you understand yourself and others better and the benefits to adapting your communication. I didn't know all of that. I was just doing at a basic level what I thought was right for that job. And I did it again when I went into recruitment. I kind of went into a new role and forgot to apply those same principles and sometimes struggled to build relationships with certain clients, certain candidates. I couldn't understand why maybe that client ghosted me all of a sudden, or that candidate. Why didn't they want to speak to me? When I realised that actually sometimes I was being maybe too much for that person or not taking things at a slower pace enough, that's when I started to see a difference. But again, I didn't truly tap into the modifying behaviour and really enhancing that self-awareness until I discovered DISC. If I had discovered DISC earlier in my career, 110% I would have been more successful, because for me it's been an absolute game changer. to my life, not just my business, not just the work I do with my clients and the people I coach and train, to my relationships outside of that as well. It's been like having a magnifying glass on my brain in a way, understanding myself in minutes instead of, the years I feel it's taken to half understand myself. So I'm talking from a place where I know the benefits because I've seen the difference in myself. I'm coming from a place where I have been in a position where I've also struggled to build relationships. So in no way am I standing here and saying, oh, I've never had a problem, building relationships with people. I have, and I still do sometimes. It really takes me taking a step back and thinking, right, what's going wrong here? Where is that conflict coming from? And how can I adapt to solve that? So to summarise, we've looked at why you're struggling potentially to build relationships at work. And as I said, that's not just with your colleagues, that's with any clients you have, customers, in the recruitment world, clients and candidates. And we talked about how actually it's because of misunderstandings, assumptions, and just pushing against each other's communication. So that's where a lot of the conflict can arise. It's to do with not understanding the other person, them not understanding you, but also sometimes the lack of self-awareness that we have as well. And the ways to deal with that is trying to get more of an understanding of yourself and others by doing something like DISC, a behavioural assessment tool, which is extremely accurate. You get quick results, they're simple to understand, and you can start to build better relationships around you. If you want to learn more about DISC, I run DISC team building days. I'm actually a licensed trainer, so if you're looking to be accredited in DISC at level 1, I can do that for you as well. Or if you want to run individual profiles for yourself, I do a lot of work around DISC. So if you want to learn more, get in touch with me ASAP, book in a call. All the links are underneath this video for contact details for me. Remember to subscribe to my channel. I'm always providing free helps, tips, advice, and of course comment on any ideas you have for videos, because as people who watch my channel will know, I do take these on board. So anything you want to learn about, anything you want to hear more of, comment and I will provide those videos. Connect with me. I'm on Instagram now as well. I've got a business page and I share a lot more personal stuff on there as well. And of course, there's my LinkedIn pages that you can access below with all the links. So please do connect with me. I love to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I will see you all again soon.